Hi, welcome to Let's Talk About Sex Really. I'm the host of this podcast, Dr. Alisa Kriegel, and today's topic is let's talk about not having sex. So, I've been thinking about this because as I'm recording it, next week is Valentine's Day. Ooh, a holiday that causes a lot of feelings for people, and can bring up a lot of pressure of performing and performative demonstrations of how you feel about someone and big gestures. And I think along with those big gestures comes expectations for a certain kind of romance or sex at the end of the night if it's a big date night out. And for some couples, that is great, and that's part of what they do regularly. For other couples, and that's really what I like to talk about a lot in this podcast, is what's not talked about, is couples where sex may not be an everyday or comfortable part of the relationship. With sexless relationships and sexless marriage, as I've spoken about before, the statistics show anywhere from 25 to 40% of couples are having sex 10 times a year or less. So that's like once a month, not even, unless you like load it all into one month 10 times and then don't have sex for another year. But whatever it is for you, there is no judgment. That is something I experienced for a long time. There can be a lot of affection, but sex itself as a physical act creates a lot of tension in some couples. And the more you get into a pattern of not having sex or not being comfortable with sex or there being tension or not enjoying the sex you're having, the more that exists, the more it creates a dynamic where it's going to be harder and harder to engage in physical sexual activity. I think it brings up for some people a lot of shame and self-judgment because we all have this sense of, even as I'm saying the definition of sexless marriage, we all have a sense of how many times is normal. There's a lot of questioning. Am I normal? Am I okay? Is what I'm doing with my partner what other people do with their partners? And people want to know that. And then there's this pressure and shame if you think you're doing not enough or less than. I think the other piece that happens in couples is one person is enjoying the sex or wants sex more than the other, or there's been changes physically due to medical conditions, even pregnancy. And I can get into that, and we'll get into that in future episodes, sort of medical changes and physical changes to the body. But today I want to talk about how we can remove some of that pressure so that the focus is how can we connect with our partner and not have sex, not have the focus be what it often is, which is this touch, this event, this dinner, this gift is going to lead, this holiday is going to lead to an expectation or we have to have sex. And that pressure and intention and expectation can sometimes make both people really uncomfortable, but also can make for really not great sex sometimes. And then you're back in that dynamic of like, well, that was awkward and didn't feel good. And so I don't know if I want to do that again. So I want to talk today about if you are in any kind of rut or have been in a dynamic where it is just not feeling, for want of a better word, organic, natural, that things aren't just fun and playful and you're both enjoying what you're doing, then this may be the episode for you. Because I want to share with you some reasons why we get into these ruts and the pressure and how it affects our brains, our bodies, and how that affects our whole system being able to be turned on. I have talked in previous episodes about the dual control model of sexual arousal. This old idea that you do something to turn the person on, and then they're automatically turned on, and then you have sex. It kind of fits with a lot of these old models of like, we have foreplay for 1 or 2 minutes, what I like to call lick it and stick it. There might be some oral sex, not enough to actually get a woman, for example, um, to have an orgasm because that can take a while, which is fine and lovely and wonderful. And sometimes it's just enough so that there's a perceived wetness, even though there may not be a more internal wetness or arousal, but perceived wetness enough that you can then have intercourse. Lick it and stick it. Yeah. Yeah. That's a classic. So I want you to think about what are some of the patterns that you have and how we can start to change those and why those patterns exist. And some of them exist from a lack of education, honestly, because so few of us have had education around sex in a real, meaningful way. So, the dual control model of arousal basically says that there is a brake and there's a gas pedal, and everyone has that, and everyone is different. And some people, the gas pedal is always on and there's very little brake, and they are ready to go at any minute, and arousal happens quickly. Other people have a very strong brake and a very light gas pedal. And that car is not moving as long as the brake pedal is down. What causes that brake pedal to be down is any sort of discomfort, anxiety, worry, anything that gets you out of your body, anything that gets you thinking about, oh, I had that assignment at work and I didn't get it done. Oh, what if one of our kids comes in the middle of the night while we're doing this? Oh, there's dishes in the sink. It can be anything. And there's also physical, and this is where the dynamics come in. There's fears. If sex has been painful, uncomfortable at any point in your life for any number of reasons, your brake might be on a lot more. And not having that brake off means the arousal's really not going to get where it needs to be for sex to be very comfortable and pleasurable. So this is the first step is let's talk about not having sex. Let's look at and want you to really think about for yourself and then maybe for your partner, but start with yourself. Where is your gas pedal and brake? And if you have a brake that you notice is really strong, is on a lot, I want you to think about what makes the brake stronger. What are the things that your brain goes to? Do you not let go of the stress of your day? Um, do you not feel like you're in your body? Does the idea of sex happening create more stress and make that brake pedal stronger? And when you realize what the different things are that might be causing the break, I want you to also see if that's something that you can make a small change around. This is where talking with your partner might be really helpful. And I love the idea of the imagery of the car, the brake, the gas, to talk about instead of high libido, low libido, what does that mean? It really means this in part. It means gas and brake. And if you're someone who has a strong brake, that is how your body works. And how can you and your partner look at ways to help take your foot off the brake? And what are the things that help to do that? To ease that sense of pressure, to get the dishes washed, to get the work done, to have a little lock on the door if that feels safer from prying little eyes, if you have kids in the house. The other thing is, this is a team effort. It's an individual effort and it's a team effort in understanding and not pressuring a partner who might have a stronger break. So, the other thing that I think is really important is noticing not just what helps get your foot off the brake, which is so important, but what helps the gas. If your gas pedal is a little lighter, what helps it feel a little stronger? And sometimes for a lot of people, it is not, we're going to have sex. That just puts the brake on. Again, if you've been in a sexless relationship, if you're in a relationship where sex has been a really big part of your life, it's pretty comfortable, chances are you know what helps each of your gas pedal get stronger, what helps arousal, and you're doing that. And so the idea of sex itself for some people might be just enough to get the gas going. So this is really speaking to people or the moments where you're not feeling it or where the break is feeling stronger. I noticed recently I was coming out of one of these big winter colds that were going around. I think I had like walking pneumonia because it was going on. I was not feeling better for weeks. And for those weeks, it was just like nothing was feeling right in my body, and my usual sense of arousal and connection and wanting to be with my partner was just like had changed. It just wasn't there. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? And it was only after I finally got on like antibiotics and prednisone and every system because I had been so ill and my body was finally starting to feel energized again that it was like, oh, I remember this. This is how I feel. This is good. Um, and it was only then that it dawned on me, no wonder I wasn't interested. Even though I wasn't sick anymore, I was working, I was feeling okay. I was not really, I was still coughing. I was not great. And that affected my whole sense of my body. And the break was on so much stronger. And it was so much harder to be in my body and not be struggling with breathing and coughing. And so it is not always the same thing, but I want you to look at that. What I think is also really important is there's some newer, I love that I'm always learning. There's some newer ideas around, I don't even want to call it foreplay. It's like I'm going to call it co-regulation because in polyvagal theory, which I have also talked about around the nervous system and how we are in our nervous system with sex, in polyvagal, there's an idea that as humans, we co-regulate each other. You'll notice it also with animals. Animals are amazing co-regulators. They will sense when you are off, when you're sad, they will come up, they'll cuddle, just petting an animal feels really soothing. It is the same with humans. We sense safety. We sense when things are pressured or stress. But co-regulation is a way and something we can consciously use with our partners where if one partner is feeling less stressed, has more of a gas pedal, less of a brake, then they can also help bring calm and soothing and help for a partner, or if it's both partners, you can help each other to be more in your body because that's where when we're out of our head, the break is often in our head worse. It's the thoughts, it's the worry about pain, it's the fear, it's the remembering things that didn't feel good in the past and worrying if it's going to feel bad again. It's a lot in our head, getting into our body and getting into a more, in nervous system terms, a more parasympathetic place, a space of calm and connection. And also, feeling connected to your partner in a way that doesn't feel like pressure. And one of the things I've been seeing more and reading about is something that people are calling bridging activities. Really like this idea. The idea is that there are activities that help bridge from your everyday stress, where you are, where your head is, and get you into a space where you just feel more connected to your partner without that pressure of, okay, now we're going to foreplay and sex, right? Now we're going to go to a nice dinner and I'm going to give you a nice gift. And afterwards, we're going to have sex. And I want to be really clear, this is not just gender one way. There are women who have really strong gas pedals and men who have really strong brakes and vice versa. So I really don't want to be gendered on this because I think I've seen everything and we are all different. And that's the bottom line. And there's some people who we're both couples have strong brakes and then you're helping one another. So the idea of a bridging activity are various activities where you can feel connected to your partner without the pressure of sex, but with the idea that we're not going to have sex. And if something happens and we both like find ourselves feeling really comfortable and turned on, then sure, maybe we're not taking it off the table completely, but it's okay that we don't have sex. Let's just connect. And so it can be, everyone has to figure out for themselves, but it can be as simple as, hey, let's watch a movie. Let's watch our favorite TV show, but can we cuddle up together? Not sit on opposite sides of the couch. That's not going to be very connecting. That's just going to be you lost in the show. And the idea of this bridging activity is to create a sense of connection and calm and connection with your partner, connection with yourself in your body, to just feel that relaxation. It can be taking a bath alone, taking a bath together, taking a shower together. It can be a massage and be really clear what you're comfortable with, right? And for some people, massage is something that always leads to sex and then that becomes pressured. So maybe it's just a foot massage. Maybe you're giving a massage to each other. Maybe it's just in one way. My boyfriend and I have a rule that with like full body massages, it is one way only because it sucks to like give a massage and then have to turn around or let me change that, to get a massage, feel super relaxed, and then have to turn around and give one because you're so relaxed. You kind of want to luxuriate in that. And we're good with the one-sided, but it changes up who's giving the massage. Um, Foot massages, decide. That's not as, you can kind of both be doing that. Play footsie. Um, be in the bath alone or together is a great one, super relaxing. There are also some activities, and I want you to get really clear on what feels good. A lot of this is just experimentation, trying it and seeing how it feels for you, for your body, for you for the both of you as partners. Um, and so there's a few exercises that are really simple and that I really like and that don't involve a ton of touching or even eye contact. And my favorite is just side by side breathing. And really, what you're doing here is you're sitting with your partner. If you're in bed watching TV, I'm not a fan of TVs in the bedroom, but that's for another episode. Just saying. Um, if you are with your partner in bed or on the couch, sitting next to each other, I want there to be, you're not purposely touching, you don't have to hold hands, but just your leg might be next to each other. Your upper bodies might be touching one another. And the idea is that you're going to start breathing and maybe do some relaxing breaths. Relaxing breaths are having the out breath be a second or two longer than the in breath. It doesn't have to be forced. What I want you to do with the side by side breathing is really see if you can't feel your partner breath, hear their breath, and try to sync up your breath together so that you are breathing with a similar rhythm. This can also be done back to back, which is really nice that you can kind of feel your partner's breath as it expands. And you don't have to be looking at each other, and you can kind of also lean on one another. So I love the back to back breathing. And it's a really nice way to just sit for a while and let your bodies sync up. The other really simple skill that can help co-regulate and help you get connected is just the like long hug. Long hug. No talking during it, no fixing things. Hey, so about, how does this feel? Just allow your bodies to feel the hug, allowing yourself to just sink into each other, to feel your bodies, to feel that warmth. So, long hug. Usually, I think science research shows it has to be at least 9 seconds, I believe, somewhere around there, but hell, make it longer. Standing, sitting, whatever's comfortable. So, you have the breathing, you have the hug, and then um, those are a great way to start. If you are feeling more comfortable and it doesn't feel awkward, there's also breathing where you're facing each other. And that's another step. And so if you're not comfortable with it because you're still feeling the brake is on or pressure, or you're very much in your head, but if you are feeling like you want more of that connection and eye contact, you can face each other, and I like having like a hand on my heart or a hand on my stomach so I can feel my breath. And then you put a hand on your partner's heart and they do the same. And so there's something very connecting. You can have eyes open, you can close your eyes, and again, syncing the breath. And this bridging activity, this activity can help co-regulate, can help quiet down, can help de-stress. And the idea of it is that you're feeling more connected. And in that space of connection, you're changing patterns and so much more can happen. So I want to recommend that this Valentine's Day or any day, you have some time where you practice not having sex, but you really look at all the steps long before traditional foreplay and sex and really figure out this sense of connection. I love this idea of connecting with your body and understanding your system, understanding the way your body works, your brake and your gas pedal, and then helping your partner understand, helping understand each other's. So I want to recommend that you play with a couple of bridging activities to get you into your body, to get you connected, and to see what just feels good and what helps you feel safe. Because feeling safe in your body and feeling safe with a partner is also what allows us to release our brakes. And that safety is what allows us to connect deeper with ourselves and to let go, that kind of letting go that we need for good sex, and letting go in a way that we are present in our bodies and not just tensing and going along with things that don't feel comfortable. So I want to really wish all of you wonderful experimentation to add this your to your rituals, to your right ways of being with your partner, whether things, even if things have been great, add this as a way to see if you can deepen things. And if sex with your partner has been fraught or painful or difficult in any way and you don't like the dynamics, then play with a different way to get into connection, to get into being together. Because sometimes from this more connected space, there can also be more conversation about what each of you like or would want to try or have as fantasies or any of those things. So, this is the start. Not having sex is the start to having really great sex. But we're going to flip it. So don't talk about having sex. Talk about all the things that feel good that would lead up to you eventually experimenting and talking and seeing what happens. So I hope this has been helpful. Look up bridging activities. I'm giving you the most basics and simple ones, and they're great places to start. And if you love it, keep looking, look it up. You'll find a bunch of things, but a lot of it is also just what feels good to you individually and what feels good to you and your partner. So you can come up with a menu of tons, as many as you need, but really you just need a few really good ones that work for you. So hope this is helpful. As always, love being here. Look forward to talking again. Look forward to seeing you again. Please follow me, really important. Please follow, please share, please tell people about it, and please take a look for my book, From Sexless Marriage to Sex Goddess, a memoir available wherever you buy books. And I look forward to being back again. Take care. Bye.